Distant is back. That's right. They are back with another EP in their collection of prequel EPs related to their album Tyrannotopia. We had last year Dawn of Corruption come out, which was this amazing sort of rebirth of the band, show that they're still heavy, they're still brutal, they can sound amazing and have great writing to them. And now we have Dusk of Anguish, the sequel in the EP series. So a few days ago I had my live stream where I listened to the entire EP, and going into it my biggest concern was that it was going to be a copy and paste job from Dawn of Corruption, and thankfully I was wrong. In some ways this EP is similar to Dawn of Corruption due to thematics, foundationary writing, but it does add its own flair to it to make it distinguish itself amongst everything else, which I'm so happy that they did it this way. So to break it down, structurally, the EP is similar, where our opening track, The Offering, is Overture. It builds it up. It's this atmospheric, demented opening that leads into our first set of breakdowns, down-tempo moments, and screams, setting up the album, showing you that it is going to be as brutal as the last one. And what I also do like about it is, if you were a person to, let's say, listen to Dawn of Corruption and then go straight into Dusk of Anguish, this is a nice moment where you can, sort of get a bit of a breather to prepare yourself for later on. And then afterwards we go straight into the title track, Dusk of Anguish. Great track overall, and this also features John Robert C from the band, 10 Seconds Left of Life. And first of all, great feature, mixed really well in, really added to the overall atmosphere of the piece. The writing on this was great. We had some really nice groovier moments, and we had some really cool inclusion of synthesis and arpeggios, which I don't remember this band doing before, but when they added in, it added this other level of like anxiety and fear that really suited the piece. And then what I also really loved about Dusk of Anguish is that they had this one section that was utilizing more tribally drums, which I really appreciate. I love it when bands do the whole tribal shit. I think it really adds to the tone, and especially with the aesthetic of this EP being very cult-like and very, demonic, it really created a tone and atmosphere. On top of that, we had choirs, we had violins being used in the background, just emphasizing some heavier moments, and of course the breakdowns were amazing. Vocals by Alan throughout the album are powerful. They are so diverse, where we have our high screams, we have our mid shouts, we have our low gutturals, and he even goes into the beautiful pig squeals that we all know and love. Continuing on, we also have the track Eternal Lament, which was the first single that came out for the album, and it was just a heavy onslaught from start to finish. Brutal. There's not much I can say about it. I will say just a slight bit of criticism is the fact that I did find the writing a bit messy at times, and I was getting a bit disorientated from one section to the next, and some of the transitions I thought were a bit abrupt and could have probably been smoothed out, but those are just like my own nitpicky complaints. But besides that, a lot of it was really great. I did like the groovier riff that was used in this one, that really sort of gave it a bit more of a dance feel. Another important track to talk about is of course the one Cryogenesis, which was the second single that came out for this band. What I really liked about it was the guest vocalist Lochi from Alpha Wolf. His incorporation into the track was done very masterfully, with his voice not just being, thrown in after the fact or even like a very small section in the album. No, Lochi is actually put in throughout the album, so it feels more like a feature and less like a cameo. Hey! And also with the incorporation of Lochi, we get these more synthier passages that are more affiliated with Alpha Wolf. So it's not just Lochi coming on the scene, it feels like Alpha Wolf is a part of this song as well. And Lochi's voice really adds to that sort of strained, like just angry sensation that is felt on this track, so I really enjoyed that. And overall, Cryogenesis was great. I will say one thing. I thought the last breakdown, don't kill me, I didn't see it necessary. But that is completely me. I don't expect people to agree with me because, we're all just breakdown sluts at the end of the day. But I don't know why. For me, I felt like it would have been just nicer if they ended it on that fade out. Again, this is me. And then the last big point I want to make is the track Ruckva, which was the closing track of the album. And it started off with a very atmospheric build-up. And it was something I wasn't expecting, because for a 20-minute track, I don't really anticipate any downtime in the release, because we only got 20 minutes. We got to put out as much as we can in the short amount of time we can. And then hearing it, I realized actually this was a really good idea. As I said with the opening, it gave it a breather. We've heard pretty much non-stop intensity from track 1 to now, and having this small breather before going into the last big climactic moment is really nice. It is sort of the calm before the storm, and what it does is when the heavy stuff finally does come in, it is more impactful, it's more aggressive sounding, and you're more invested by the end of it. Another point I'd like to make was that during the release cycle of this album, there was some supplementary material added on to it, where the band released a couple of pages that sort of explain the lore behind the whole Dawn of Corruption, Dusk of Anguish, Tyrannotopia, that whole saga. You know something? It's really cool when bands do these sort of supplementary things. They don't have to. You could just listen to the EPs and try and figure out a pattern or storyline from the lyrics themselves. But the fact that these lore pages definitely elevates the value of these EPs, because it gets you more involved with the narrative and more invested in the storyline that they're trying to convey to you. So I thought that was really cool of them to do that, and I'm looking forward to seeing more lore pages in regards to the releases. When it comes to negatives, there's not really much I can say, and in all honesty, if I'm having to nitpick at this point, it's literally because they got all the major stuff right. Now, to nitpick it a bit, I kind of wish that the drums were a bit more, quieter in some sections, because there was definitely moments where I thought the drums were overpowering everything else in the mix, specifically in the mid-range sections where we have our guitars, upper end of the bass, and also our vocals. And I just thought the drums, specifically the kick drum and the snare, just overpowering everything. And as I said before, some moments on the album I did find the writing a bit on the messier side when it comes to my ears. So what can I say about this album? It is a great successor to Dawn of Corruption. I wasn't expecting them to get Bullseye twice, and the fact that they pretty much matched what they did at Dawn of Corruption and added a bit extra is pretty amazing. It's hard to do that for bands, especially when you have these more longer sort of projects you're trying to release. And with all that being said, I'm not actually going to give this EP a rating. No. Because at the end of the stream, when we were listening to the album, I noticed that at the very end, it said end of phase 2, which I assume means there's going to be a phase 3. I'm going to gander that it's going to be the big climactic moment in the storyline that sort of attaches back to Tyrannotopia, the album. So with that being said, I'm going to wait for phase 3 to come out and then give the whole EP trilogy a rating. And not gonna lie, if I'm gonna make a prediction, I could see this as like a 9, maybe a 10, maybe a perfect 10 out of 10 when it comes to like projects, because I think they killed it on Dawn of Corruption, they've killed it here with Dusk of Anguish, and if they can just bookend it with something absolutely insane on the last EP, my god, I don't even know, man. I think it'll be too good. It'll be too good. It will definitely set a benchmark to what a deathcore band can do with a conceptual project, but we will wait for phase 3 to come out. But anyway, I'm gonna end the video there. If you've listened to the EP, write down below, what did you think? Did you like it? Did you not? If you enjoyed this review, give it a like. And if you really, really like this review, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. But with all that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.